If you've logged into Xero lately and thought, wait, where has everything gone? You're not alone. Xero's new menu layout rolled out across most accounts, and things feel a little bit different. So in this video, I am going to walk you through the new layout step by step to show you where your favorite features have moved and share a few hidden shortcuts that'll make navigation even faster than before. So before you waste another few minutes hunting for, your financial settings, where have they gone? Stay tuned because I'll make sure that you feel completely at home with the new Xero dashboard. Hi, I'm Ray Armand, a chartered accountant and founder of Xero Hero, where I help business owners and bookkeepers master Xero accounting software without the overwhelm. Every week, I release new videos or tutorials like this to help you become confident, compliant, and efficient in Xero, and to truly feel confident in using your numbers to make decisions in your business. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Xero changes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you won't miss out on future videos. Other than that, let's jump straight in. Okay, before I open up a Xero screen, let's start with the big picture. Xero has completely redesigned that top menu bar and the side navigation. Now, it isn't just for looks, and there are some more changes to come on the Xero dashboard or home screen in the coming weeks or months. I am just going to focus on this video at that top menu bar. Okay, what they are trying to do is make the system more intuitive, especially for newer users, and to group tasks by what you do rather than what the feature is called. In other words, instead of thinking like, where are my reports? Why is it under accounting? There is now a dedicated reports menu. So it's clever once you know it, but might be a little bit confusing until you've been shown around. So what I want to do in this video is make sure that you feel confident when you open up Xero and you know exactly where you need to go. So let's jump in. Okay, let's jump into the Xero demo company. So as you can see here is the new menu across the top. Now let's begin by looking briefly at how this menu used to appear in Xero. So I have on the screen here how the menu used to look. So you had your dashboard, business accounting, and then they had projects visible to try and promote that to you, or if you're using projects, you would see that, and contacts. More recently, you would have seen that payroll also appeared. And basically that was because if you go to the Xero pricing, what they decided to do is rename the pricing packages and include different things that weren't included before. And so what used to be the standard license that most people are on is now called Grow. And if you scroll down to payroll, you'll see that payroll is included as standard for one person at this Grow level package. So that is why payroll became visible as one of these menus up here, one of these menu options, should I say. If you are not using payroll or projects, you can obviously ignore those, but that was the starting point. Now, all they've really done is to rename this dashboard to Home. And then they've taken the business menu and split it in two, and they've taken the accounting menu and split it into three. Okay, other than that, the functionality haven't really moved around. So let's have a look at what that looks like. Here's the new menu, and as mentioned, you've got payroll and projects, which was always there. Okay, so we can ignore those mostly. Also, contacts has always been there, so that has remained. So there's contacts. So contacts, projects, and payroll. You should be familiar with those. Those have been around for a long time. I now want to show you how the business menu has been split in two and the accounting menu has been split in three, so that if you knew where to find things in the old Xero, you can easily navigate where you can find things in the new menu layout. So You have the dashboard, looks identical to before, it's just renamed home. However, do know that rolling out the next sort of few weeks or months will be a whole new look to this dashboard or home screen. Okay, and then incorporating like some of the Sift Analytics stuff, because they acquired an organization called Sift Analytics. So they're incorporating some more visuals to the screen. Now, menus. The business menu has been split in two, as I mentioned. And whenever I used to tell people how to navigate around Xero, and I spoke about the business menu, I always said the business menu was for what you do day to day, managing your customers and your suppliers. And then the accounting menu is your setup and your reporting. Okay. So essentially that's what they've done. They've taken their business menu and now they've split it into, this is where you manage your customers and this is where you manage your suppliers. So instead of it being in one menu, they've split it into two. Okay. So sales is where you are going to deal with everything to do with customers. So this is where you as a business or your business supplies products or services to someone else and you need to send them an invoice because they owe you money. So everything you need to do with regards to those people are going to be here. And purchases is where you as a business receive a product or a service from a supplier and you get a bill or an invoice from them, and everything to do with your suppliers is going to happen here. Now, of course, you might get people who are both customers and suppliers, but this is where when you are dealing with a specific type of transaction, is it money that you are bringing in because of product or service you've delivered, or is it money you need to pay out because it's a product or service that you have received? And that's what the two menus are. So it's just that business menu split in two. Now let's compare our accounting menu, and the accounting menu has been split into three. Now, again, that makes sense. I always said the accounting menu had sort of two key parts, and I'll explain the third one in a moment, but the two key parts were your reporting and your settings. So what they've done is they've taken that accounting menu, and you can see there the accounting is, and they've taken the reporting section out of it and given reporting its own dedicated menu, which makes sense. I think it's easier to find it that way. So that's your reporting. And then here is kind of all your settings. It's your brain behind Xero, or your structures that you put in place. It's more of your accounting focused actions that you need to take in Xero. So it's the typical stuff that you need. You don't need, I don't want to say you need a higher level of understanding, but typically the sorts of things that you do in this menu would be leaning more towards accounting type work, as opposed to these others are more like bookkeeping type work. Okay. Of course, there's some crossover, but that's the general theme. So these are like your settings and fixing errors, etc. Manual journals, all of those more like technical, where you need some understanding of accounting to be able to do that work. Okay, so if you're just a business owner and you have no sort of background in accounting, or like you're not an experienced bookkeeper, you'll probably stick to these two menus. Then you get your tax menu. Now, the reason they've introduced this is because VAT, doing your VAT return, always used to sit randomly under reporting. Okay, it was like dug right into the depths of the reporting feature in Xero. So it makes sense that they've given VAT or tax its own menu. And the reason why I'm guessing that they've named this menu tax and not VAT or VAT is because with MTD rolling out, so MTD stands for Making Tax Digital, which HMRC is rolling out across the taxes. They started with VAT, and as you all know, MTD, or you might know or may not, MTD is rolling out for personal taxes very shortly. So I imagine that Xero will add to this tax menu over time and add like the MTD submissions for personal taxes, etc., to this menu, and that's why it's called the tax menu. That's the way I see things going. Okay, so there you can see it. You've got your business menu split into customers and suppliers. Your accounting menu has just been split, or the reporting bit has been taken out. All your reporting can be found here. The accounting menu has all the remaining parts you expect to see around setups, etc. And then you've got VAT in a dedicated menu with other tax types, I think, coming in the future. Now, a quick reassurance. Even though the layout looks new, just know that all your data and processes that you have followed will be exactly the same. Okay. For example, your VAT returns are still filed in the same way. Your bank rules will still work and can be found in the same place by jumping into any one of your bank accounts here. And your reports have not moved far. Just rather than being here in the accounting menu, you can jump into them straight from their own dedicated menu. Now, if this video is already helping you feel more confident in Xero, hit that subscribe and tap the bell icon, because I've got more short tutorials coming on things like setting up bank rules, fixing reconciliation errors, and using Xero projects for better profitability. And I promise to always keep them simple, short, and jargon free. So before I wrap up, here are 3 top tips that I have for you to make sure that you get the most out of this new layout, okay? So that you aren't fumbling around and that you are moving around Xero, snappy snap, getting to wherever you need to go. Okay, so my first is, and actually these tips in most cases, well, there's nothing new. They're tips that I've always had in place, but they're going to help you to work better in Xero. So tips around navigating in Xero. My first is to use the favoriting or star icon on your most used reports so that you can access them really quickly. So let me show you what I mean by this. If we go to reporting and we go into all reports, it brings us to the screen. And you can see there are various tabs across the top. I'm happy that we're on the home tab for now. What I want to show you, I just want you to be aware of these other tabs, okay? What I want to show you is in this top section, you can see your favorites. So these are the reports that are starred or favorited. Now, if you find that some of these are not relevant to you or that you want to add some others, you can change which are your favorited reports. You just scroll down. Here's all the reports that are available in Xero. Okay, there's quite a few. And you just literally hit that little star button. One of my favorite reports is Budget Manager or Budget Variance. And you can see that they get added to the favorite report here or favorite section here. And when I hit this reporting drop-down menu, there they are. So that next time, if I'm on the home page in Xero and I want to run my budget variance report, I don't have to do various clicks to get there. I don't have to go reporting, all reports, go find my budget variance. It's literally there for me to use. Okay, just click it and I'm in that variance report. And that's a really cool report to run in Xero. Okay, so tip number 1 is to use that star icon to favorite your most used and most loved Xero reports so that you can access them really quickly. My next tip for you is to get familiar with using this search bar, a search little navigation icon you got here. Now, in the demo company, it doesn't work properly, so I can't demo it for you. But you can search in transactions and contact, and this is super useful for like finding things out. So if I put in a supplier name in there or a customer name, it's going to show me, I can jump straight to that contact record if I would like. I can look at any bills or invoices that I've raised to that contact, and I can look at any spend money like bank transactions. So it's a really quick way to find out what has happened with a particular contact. Okay, so do make use of these cool little extra icons they're pulling in. I know some of them have been around for a while, but as things change in Xero, look out for some of those features you've maybe never paid attention to before, because they can make things a lot easier. And then another sort of tip that is not really a Xero tip, but always just like a great, should I say, it's like time-saving tip that you can use, is to use bookmarks. So if you get to a specific part of Xero, maybe it's the find and recode menu. Maybe it's the account settings, which are now, if you want to find financial settings, you have to like do a few clicks into them and you want to come and check these. Whatever, there's a part of Xero that you are checking regularly. If you bookmark it, you can then access it at one click of a button. Okay, so if there's certain things like the budget manager or something that you want to access regularly, then use bookmarks in your browser, and that is going to save you a lot of time. And it's all about getting into flow. And once you know the shortcuts and you understand navigating around the menus like I've shown you, you can move around Xero a lot faster than ever, and save time. Okay, so that's the new Xero menu layout explained. What's moved, where to find everything, and a few tricks to make sure that it's even smoother than before. So if you found this helpful, please like the video and comment below. Tell me which Xero feature you want me to cover next. And if you'd love to join one of my free live Xero Hero training sessions where I walk you through Xero step by step, then the link's below this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. You are now one step closer to becoming a true Xero hero.